Hello and welcome back to Tinker Talks Guns. Today we're going to be talking about the Vis 35 Radom, as it is now known, which is the Polish World War II service pistol. It's a rather 1911 looking beast, but in fact it really bears more of a mechanical resemblance to the high power, the GP35. In fact, Vis is Latin for power, apparently. So this was the Power 35, while FN produced the High Power 35. There's a whole story about that, and the In It Forgotten Weapons goes into it in great detail. Suffice it to say, the gun was adopted in 1935, went into production in 1936, and they'd made quite a few of them when the Nazis took over. The Nazis took the factory intact, liked the gun, and said, let's keep on producing them. And they did. And again, there's a lot of stories about that, but the upshot is that this was the third most prolific service pistol in the service of the Nazis in World War II, which is little known. And it's a very interesting pistol, and it has some interesting features. So let's go to the tabletop and have a look at that. The Vis 35 is a full-size service pistol with about a 4 3/4 inch barrel. It is a single action with an 8-round box magazine, chambered in 9mm parabellum. It is operated in very typical fashion, and except that it has no manual safeties. It has a grip safety, and that's pretty much it. This is not, as you might expect, a safety. It is a hammer drop. And it drops it all the way down rather than having it fall into a safety notch the way we might be used to today. Excuse me. But when you activate it, it withdraws the firing pin into the breech so that it won't fire. And it's a good, solid, fairly simple system. Earlier examples appear to have a safety here, like a Colt 1911. It is not a safety. It is a takedown lever that was there largely to circumvent some FN patents. And there was a corresponding notch in the slide that it would lock into, allowing you to take the gun down rather easily. Because the way you take it down is you line up this part and then pull forward on the ejector rod, which is what retains this piece, is spring pressure, not the ejector rod, the guide rod. On this example, I can't pull forward on it and release this, so we're not going to take it apart. But when you do take it apart, it looks rather like a Browning high power. Now, an interesting feature is that the guide rod is telescoping. And this is a safety feature because it was found when the guns were dropped, they could go off. Well, in this case, that telescoping feature would allow the slide to retract slightly when it was dropped, which took it out of battery, which prevented it from being able to go off. So, an interesting and unconventional solution. Like a Browning high power, once it's apart, the barrel is removed from the inside. And as I say, it's just a very solid, very workmanlike mid-century service pistol, which means the sights are nothing to write home about, but they are usable and it does shoot to point of aim. I mean, I was not particularly trying for great accuracy when I test fired it, but everything was in the black at 7 yards, so, good enough. The trigger is a little bit of take-up, which is kind of nice, frankly. And it's not light, but it's commendably crisp. As I said, it was not difficult at all to shoot this gun accurately. And the reset, well, if it were in 1911, I'd say it was long. For just about anything else, it's not long. And it is a heavy chunk because it's all steel. And there's really not that much more to it, since I am unable to successfully take it apart and show you any of the internals. However, Ian at Forgotten Weapons goes into the production of these guns in great detail, and he does take one that has the takedown lever apart so you can see the internals there. So, to the best of my knowledge, production of the VIS-35 stopped at the end of World War II and was never taken up again by the Poles or anyone else. That doesn't mean there aren't plenty of them, because total production ran to about 350,000. As I said, it was the third most prolific gun in Nazi service. And so it became kind of a footnote in history, and which is a shame. It's a very fine service pistol, mid-century service pistol. They're not stupid expensive today as far as I know, but since only collectors are interested in them, depending on how it's marked and other details, collector type money can be involved very easily. But just a very good, solid service pistol. It's a shame it mostly got to serve Nazis. What can you do? Anyway, if you like the video, please hit like and subscribe. It's the only way YouTube knows I exist. Leaving comments is also helpful. And simple fact of the matter is, every single one of these videos costs me money. It is what it is. If you want to help with that, kick $1 or $2 a month my way on Patreon. There's a link to my Patreon account in the description below. And it helps a lot. Anyway, I hope this finds you well. Stay safe, take care, and we'll talk to you again real soon.